Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Utility Sports. And in today's video, we've got massive news on a big-time draft prospect who just had a career day in perhaps the biggest game of his career and the biggest game of the season for the Michigan Wolverines. Of course, that player is Aidan Hutchinson, the dynamic edge who's going to be probably a top 5 pick in the draft and possibly could even go number 1 after the performance we saw from him today. Set a school record for the Michigan Wolverines with 13 sacks on the season now. Austin, Aidan Hutchinson was phenomenal all day long as the Michigan Wolverines upset the Ohio State Buckeyes 42-27 in what was an absolutely thrilling game. What were your thoughts on Hutchinson's performance today?
Hutchinson completely controlled the line of scrimmage all day long. There was never a point in the game where he really wasn't winning his one-on-one matchups with offensive linemen. And what's crazy about it is Ohio State had to change things around. Nicholas Petit-Frere is one of the best offensive linemen in the nation in terms of pass blocking, and he completely and utterly dominated him. So they decided to switch it up. Thayer Mumford went out to left tackle to try to contain him. It did not matter. Aidan Hutchinson was all over the field making plays, and obviously got after the quarterback. He generated a ton of pressures, even if they didn't all result in sacks. Still ended up with 3 on the day. He has a school record, 4 sacks in a season for Michigan. So it's really incredible to see the progression of him as a prospect. This is a guy, once upon a time, was projected in that 20 range for all the overall draft prospects, and now he finds himself to be a top 10 lock, very possibly a top 5 player. And he's obviously a very productive guy, but we really seen some of those traits as well. Really, really strong at the point of attack. He's got long arms. He won with speed and power today. Overall, great performance by Aidan Hutchinson.
Like you said, he was winning off both sides of the line. They're beating the right tackle consistently once they kicked Nicholas Petit-Frere over to right tackle, also beating Thayer Mumford, off that left tackle spot. One with speed, one with power, great use of his hands, was able to win with inside moves, outside moves, and just really a dominant performance. And him and his teammate David Ojabo lead the nation as a duo in sacks. Ojabo has 11 now in the season, got 1 to seal the game today against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Those two guys have been making magic all year long. Ojabo, Hutchinson combined for 24 sacks in the year, combined for 4 today, with Aidan Hutchinson having 3 of those 4. Just a phenomenal game from Aidan Hutchinson, and he's not the only key player to talk about here for Michigan. Hassan Haskins, Austin, I know you've been a big fan of his game, the senior running back for the Wolverines. He had a career day as well and a school record day. Talk about his performance.
He was absolutely incredible, really controlled the pace of the game. They were able to consistently run the football, obviously wore down Ohio State towards the end of the game, especially on that final drive for Michigan. Just ran it down the field. Ohio State really wasn't trying to stack the box, which I think was a mistake towards the end of the game, because it was going to be Haskins' game. He had to go ahead and win it. He did. And it was really impressive. Normally, Blake Corum subbed in there a little more, but Haskins was on an absolute roll. Didn't want to really disturb the utter dominance he was exuding at that point in the game. So they kept rolling with him. He had a ton of volume, and it really worked out for Michigan. And Jim Harbaugh finally gets the monkey off of his back, beats Ohio State in a much anticipated game. And all around, you can't be happier if you're a Michigan Wolverine fan.
Right, there was so much leaning on it. Haskins had a 5-touchdown day today, school record there for the Michigan Wolverines, and just a phenomenal all-around game for that lead back there for the Wolverines. Austin, there's a few other key things to talk about here. We're going to start with Aidan Hutchinson's draft stock. Obviously, we talked about him a little bit, saying he started in the process in the 20s, moved up into the lock to the top 10 now, probably a top 5 player. Is there any chance he goes before Kayvon Thibodeau, number 1 overall?
I mean, if you look at the production, he has been more productive this season. Part of it's due to Thibodeau's injuries that he's had so far this year, his inability to stay in the lineup. But I think it is possible. It really depends on how far Michigan can really go, and we can see him on a more of a national stage as well through the college football playoffs, that they're able to make it in there, which with this marquee win, you would almost think that this has to lock them, right? But the big task for them is winning that Big Ten championship. And coming out of the West, it's likely going to be Wisconsin or Iowa. I feel pretty good about their chances in a game versus either of those teams. So you're really going to see a lot of Aidan Hutchinson. He's really going to have to carry this defense. And like you talked about Ojabo, he's no slouch either. It's hard to send double teams when you have 2 guys consistently getting to the quarterback. So I like Michigan. I think Aidan Hutchinson very well could be the top pick. I think that's a possibility. I don't know if it's entirely likely. However, he's really solidified himself as a for sure top 10 lock and even a possible top 5 pick, which, after this game really has proven to us that he can even beat the best on the biggest stage.
Yeah, most definitely, Austin. one thing here, you alluded to the college football playoffs a little bit. Ohio State, a team that I thought, almost could be a lock with their dominant win against Michigan State just recently, lost today to Michigan. Does this doom Ohio State's playoff chances?
There's been no team in the history of the college football playoff that has gotten in with 2 losses. I don't think the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to be an exception. Yes, they're very talented, but I don't think they're really going to push past that 2 losses. Is going to be really, really tough, and it all depends on the committee. However, I think they are out of the college football playoff discussion now.
Definitely a disastrous loss today for them. Their whole season kind of goes down the drain with this key loss to the Michigan Wolverines. They came out and took it. Michigan, a lot of credit due to them. Ohio State's a really talented team, and Michigan just outplayed them in basically every facet of the game. There was a lot of nice plays from Ohio State, but Michigan seemed to counter every single time that they had to and were asked to do it. Congratulations to Harbaugh. Congratulations to Michigan fans. This was a great win. Go out, celebrate it. Have a nice day enjoying this big win. If you guys are new to Utility Sports, make sure to leave a like, subscribe as well if you are new, and leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on Aidan Hutchinson, where he's going to get drafted in the NFL draft. Also, your thoughts on if Michigan can go on and win the whole thing. Of course, there's some big dogs yet in the way, including the Georgia Bulldogs. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the very next Utility Sports video.